Destroy WrestleTalk.
Thanks for your support on Patreon, the Craftsman Blake Carpenter. Drew McIntyre challenges Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. A wild Mojo Rawley appears. And Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, reveals his retirement match will be against Baron Corbin. Or is it? As WWE reportedly might change direction. More on that later, and AJ Styles revealing his WWE future in the news portion of this video, which I guess I'm doing as Luke Owen has been kidnapped by Screenstalker. Click the timestamps in the video description below to go straight to any of those stories. I'm Ollie Davis, give us a subscribe, press the thumbs up button, and answer our question of the day in the comments. What are your thoughts on Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin? Because I'll be replying to people from out of disappointment. And click the eye above my head to give your rating of the show, where you can choose from Rawsome, Core, Average, Poor, and Rawful, as I review the 18th of March 2019 edition of Monday Night Raw. This week's Raw kicked off with a huge surprise segment. Brock Lesnar actually showed up. Brock got some good heel heat from the lively Chicago crowd, who then chanted along with Heyman's catchphrases. Fickle! Heyman set up a main event of Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, but Seth couldn't wait that long, awesomely attacking Drew with a chair on the ramp. After losing his Intercontinental Championship last week, Finn Balor took on Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush with a not-so-mystery partner, because Cole kept referring to them as monstrous. Wink, cough, wink. It's Braun Strowman. Because small people aren't as good as bigger people, though, Braun and Lashley were the only ones standing tall, as Bobby left Lio high and dry to get pinned by Strowman. Why are you still a segment? Alexa's moment of bliss revealed Elias would be the headlining musical act at WrestleMania, presumably because 17 matches won't make the show long enough, and Flo Rida was busy, either A, working out, B, producing sick beats, or C, getting down with hoes. And Otis led No Way Jose conga line later, and Elias beat No Win Jose in a few minutes. Next up was Kurt Angle announcing his final opponent, the man who'll retire him on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. Over the last week, WWE have teased a bunch of very exciting career-appropriate names for the honor, John Cena and Samoa Joe being chief amongst them. But then, over the weekend, Kurt appeared to accept a retirement match against his former Team Angle protege, Shelton Benjamin. Not the most exciting way to end Kurt's career, you might think. Well, hold WWE's beer, because they found something infinitely more lackluster. Kurt Angle, actual Olympic gold medalist, former WWE, TNA, and New Japan heavyweight champion, and my favorite wrestler of all time, chose his retirement match to be against one-time Money in the Bank losing, waistcoat wrestling, Baron Corbin. Sure, there's a storyline there with the whole Raw general manager stuff from last year, but it's not a good one. Just like how Kurt's random Hall of Fame announcement return in 2017 scuppered so much potential, it appears WWE just don't respect Angle the way the vast majority of fans do. There is a chance that this is all a swerve and a better opponent will be announced. More on that later. But that doesn't get around the fact that Kurt chose Baron here. He chose him, which makes Angle look dumb. In almost a slap in the face, WWE showed us next what we could have won, having Kurt face accomplished amateur wrestler Chad Gable, which, in another timeline, could have been built around Gable being Kurt's illegitimate son. Remember that? This was an okay match that I couldn't really enjoy on account of all the Corbin rage! And Kurt's not the only one ruining retirements at WrestleMania. Because Beth Phoenix announced she's going back on hers this year to fight with Natalya for Sasha Banks and Bayley's women's tag titles. Phoenix is in great shape, but she's just not that over, and WWE's continued pushing of her as some kind of all-time legend is hollow. This turned into a quick Sasha Banks versus Natalya match, which was more an angle for Nia Jax and Tamina to beat everyone up for the DQ. Mojo Rawley was last seen cutting intense promos into a mirror on the 4th of February, a month and a half later, with no follow-up segments, he's still there. Well-known established tag team wrestler Ricochet had a rare singles match against Jinder Mahal next. Surely that means he can really get over his awe-inspiring high-flying offense. Oh, you silly Mark! The most effective way to book Ricochet is have him get worked over with boring rest holds for 80% of the match by someone who's been presented as a joke undercarder for the last year and then pulling out a win. That's wrestling booking. Say what you want about Ronda Rousey versus Dana Brooke on this week's Raw. It had far more build than Ronda's Fastlane title match against Ruby Riott. And it was over even quicker, with Rousey making Brooke tap in seconds, not letting go of the hold even after the bell rang. Ronda was an awesome heel here, pushing over a referee and then going to kiss her husband Travis Brown at ringside, who himself then pushed over a security guard. They left the arena through the crowd, not just setting up how Rousey can do what she likes in WWE, but also potentially establishing Brown as an ongoing part of her act. This was a badass presentation of Rousey and a great way to build her new heel character without Becky Lynch on the show. After Apollo Crews goaded Corbin into a match backstage, we got the two wrestling while the Chicago crowd chanted at Baron, "You're not Cena," in reference to nobody wanting to see him retire Kurt Angle. That's how bad this is. A Chicago crowd chanted for John Cena. And then to build Corbin up for Kurt's retirement match even more, Apollo beat him with a surprise roll-up. Batista joined Raw over satellite next from his evil villain lair in Tampa, Florida, where he effectively cut a worked shoot promo on Triple H, explaining his side of the story, that Hunter just surrounded himself with people to make him look good, with factions like DX and Evolution, which is pretty much the subject of Max Landis' short film Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, and how Batista quit the company because Triple H was holding him down. And to prove that, he's become a huge Hollywood star since escaping. It was a great way to continue this feud, adding the realism of backstage criticisms of Hunter, that in real life, he really is a manipulative, power-hungry, cerebral assassin. But as excellent as the content and Batista's delivery were, the crowd still chanted for CM Punk. This is why we can't have nice things. Capping off an awful year for Braun Strowman, he then announced he'll be in the WrestleMania Men's Battle Royal. How far he's fallen from tagging with a 10-year-old. After Drew McIntyre challenged Roman Reigns for a match at WrestleMania, Seth and Drew had a decent main event with the usual riffs on the Monday Night Rollins templates, dives, and superplexes into Falcon Arrows. But unfortunately, the finish was lazy. Brock Lesnar distracting Seth with his entrance for McIntyre to hit a Claymore for the win. Aside from the very well executed Batista and Ronda segments, this was a boring and slow episode, with the infuriating announcement of Angle versus Corbin for Mania, meaning this week's Raw is poor. But hey, maybe we won't even get Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin if the latest reports are to be revealed.
Hey man!
Luke!
Hey dude, I do the news on your Raw reviews, remember? This is how we've always done things.
Yeah, but you were just kidnapped by Screen Stalker.
Oh, no. Fakador said it was fine for me to go over there. I was just there to do the movie news. They do excellent movie news episodes and video game news episodes as well.
That's really, really enjoyable stuff. And I really enjoyed the video. The graphics are incredible over there. It's a great channel. But they're trying to destroy us right now.
Oh, my friends, no. They're trying to improve WrestleTalk. That's why Fakador gave me this floppy disk. He told me to put it into the camera, and that will improve WrestleTalk.
I don't know, man. That looks way too advanced for our equipment. And it could be an attack. They could be trying to put in some kind of Trojan virus to take over WrestleTalk.
No, my friend, trust me on this. It just makes sense.
The graphics! They've infiltrated us!
It looks very nice round here.
It does look really nice, but I've got to dive into this. I think they're trying to take us over, Luke. This is the next stage.
Such a weird reaction. Anyway, here's the news. With Ricochet taking on Jinder Mahal and Chad Gable being selected for a Kurt Angle exhibition match, Raw Tag Team Champions The Revival had nothing to do on this week's Raw and therefore weren't booked. It seems as though all The Revival wanted to do upon coming up to the main roster was win the tag titles, but have since learned the lesson of the Twilight Zone episode Man in the Bottle. Be careful what you wished for, as you might end up as Hitler. Case in point is Dash Wilder on Twitter, when a fan sent an image of their nephews posing with their Raw Tag Tag Team Championships, Wilder replied, "Please don't wish being Raw Tag Team Champs on them for their sake." Someone who did feature on last night's Raw, on the other hand, was Baron Corbin, with Kurt Angle announcing that he will face the former Raw GM at WrestleMania in his farewell match. As you would imagine, this was not particularly well received by WWE fans, who were disappointed that Angle's final ever WrestleMania performance will be against the guy who wrestles in a waistcoat. Angle himself took to Instagram to try and defend the choice, but the clip of the announcement on YouTube has been disliked way more than it has been liked. However, according to Bleacher Report and NBC Sports' Justin LaBar, this match isn't going to take place at all. LaBar posted on Twitter in response to a fan unhappy with Angle versus Corbin, "The match isn't going to happen. They will remove Corbin on the basis of fans are displeased and just do what they did when they removed Corbin from the GM role. They will reward everyone with the big match." Doubling down in a separate tweet saying, "Corbin versus Angle is a way to get people to appreciate the actual match they will get." Someone whose WrestleMania plans are more solidified, however, is AJ Styles, who will face Randy Orton as announced last Thursday by WWE's Twitter. Earlier this year, it was reported that AJ Styles' WWE contract was coming to an end and he was yet to sign a new agreement, with lots of speculation running wild that he could head over to All Elite Wrestling, who were reportedly very keen on signing him to their fledgling company. Dave Meltzer even noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that of all the wrestlers in the world, there was no one better positioned to negotiate between WWE and AEW than AJ Styles, who would be seen as a high commodity by both companies. But the speculation on where Styles will be for the next few years can now come to an end, with the phenomenal one announcing via Twitter that he's got a new dog, which SmackDown co-star Peyton Royce promises to steal if he's ever brought to work. Oh, and he also added that he signed a new deal with WWE, which was later confirmed by WWE.com, who wrote, "In the tweet, Styles also casually mentioned that he signed a new contract, silencing any chatter or rumors about his WWE future." Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to all of our awesome pledge hammers on Patreon who are currently scrolling their way into my tummy, giving me unlimited power! Click the video over there to watch Ollie Davis's news about WWE nearly releasing Becky Lynch, and click the Patreon link to become one of our pledge hammers on Patreon and get your name in the credits. I've been Luke Owen, and that was wrestling.